I grew up in a Catholic family, so early I became familiar with the New Testament, but just recently, for the first time, I decided to try to read the Old Testament, and I made it through the first 6 books, and I plan to continue to read. Even though Bible initially begins with the description of creation, which indicates that Bible would teach monotheism, that there is one God, ultimate, supreme. But as one continues to read the Bible, it almost seems that it teaches polytheism, because Yahweh always describes himself as one of many deities, like, the God of, he himself, Yahweh, recognizes there's a God of Egyptians, that there's a God of this tribe, God of that tribe, many different gods. As a matter of fact, he says you should not worship any other God besides me. I'm a jealous God. And he never refers to him, at least thus far, as the supreme, as God of gods. Even though I remember once Moses saying that, describe Yahweh as the God of gods, but Yahweh himself never said that. Why is this important? Because Yahweh seems to, according to what I've read in the Old Testament thus far in the first 6 books, Yahweh seems to behave just like a typical polytheistic deity. Number one, arbitrary favoritism. He is favoring one tribe, the tribe of Israel, Jacob, over other tribes for no good reason. No good reason. There's no difference between this tribe and any other tribe. As a matter of fact, many times the children of Israel have lost their faith in Yahweh and worshipped other deities, and lost their faith in Moses and didn't follow Yahweh, didn't follow Moses. As a matter of fact, there's descriptions of Yahweh killing his own people, dozens of thousands of them. So there's this arbitrary favoritism, very similar like in Greek mythology, where deity favors one warrior over another for no good reason. Just he likes him. He just likes him and he favors him. Why? There's no moral reason. There's no moral quality to this soldier to distinguish him from another soldier. The other thing is that Yahweh, at least according to what Moses teaches, and Moses always speaks as if God spoke to him, and then he goes to his own people and tells them what Yahweh told them they should do, and he engages them in horrible activities like genocide. There's a whole lot of genocide in the Old Testament. Yahweh, according to Moses again, Yahweh brings his chosen people to a promised land, and he orders them to go in, execute everyone, take their land, and enjoy it. And so Moses sends the soldiers in, they kill everyone, they occupy the land, and then they bring back prisoners. Dozens of thousands of prisoners, women and children. In other words, they killed all of the men, and they spared women and children. And when they brought them back to Moses, Moses was all angry. Why did you bring him? You should have killed them. You should have killed all of them. And then he orders execution of women and children, sparing only virgins and baby girls. And Moses tells them, you can have him for yourselves. Possess him. I don't know what to think of this. It makes me have, I do have, upon reading this, I have crisis. Not crisis because of something I read in a book, but crisis because there's millions of people who consider this sacred. This is supremely immoral. This is horrible. How can anyone consider this sacred? I must be missing something. I hope someone who watches this video can tell me, help me. What did I miss? I must have missed something. Because I just cannot accept the fact that millions of people, mentally, emotionally, intellectually healthy people, would consider this sacred. Or I must have missed something, or we really live in a potentially horrible world where people could actually consider these kind of activities sacred. The other thing that that makes Yahweh appear as a polytheistic deity is materialism. The nature of his blessings are never spiritual. If you follow his instructions, you will be blessed. And his blessings are always material by nature. He'll give you plenty of children, he'll give you plenty of animals, you'll have plenty to eat, places to sleep, and on and on. But it's always material benefits. No spiritual benefits thus far in the first 6 books of the Old Testament. And the last thing is that there's no philosophy. Upon reading the first 6 books of the Old Testament, I wonder, what am I supposed to learn from all of this? The only lesson that seems to be apparent is that one should fear this deity. And if you don't obey this deity, you will suffer tremendously. You will suffer tremendously. And that's if you survive. If you don't get stoned and so on. Stoned meaning killed by throwing stones at you, having stones thrown at you. And if you obey this deity, then you will have material prosperity. So what is the lesson here? One should obey the deity to become a good materialist? I mean, what is the philosophy here? I mean, to accept the guidance of a superior, such as a morally correct deity, if we assume that Yahweh is a morally correct deity, even though it doesn't appear so thus far, unless I have missed something. If one follows a superior guidance, such as a morally correct deity, one will prosper. But and that's good, but how is that good? That is not communicated. In other words, there's no education to tell the reader, this education does not give tools to the reader by which the reader can tell the difference between a moral and an immoral act. Anyhow, I'm really confused about this, the Old Testament, and to the point that I'm really having crisis about humanity, about people. I must have missed something, and if any of the viewers of this video could help me identify something big that I must have missed here, I would really appreciate that. Thank you.